Hey, it's Chris Pontius from Jackass and Wild Boys, and it's time for Matty C Sports for You and Me. Matty C Sports for You and Me, food for the sports fan's infernal soul. Feast on field goals. Check out Matty C Sports for You and Me. Even if you don't like sports, tune in now because you are going to. It's that good. I mean, we got sports for guys, sports for gals, sports for the whole kids. Get ready to be happy. Matty C Sports for You and Me. Sports for you, sports for me. Brought to you by Matty C.
On this team, we fight for that itch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that itch.
Coming in at 320 kilobytes per second. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Matty C Sports for you and me.
When it comes to getting dough and chasing dollars.
All right, everybody, Matty C Sports for You and Me, and I have a special guest with me. I met this woman through promotion / league called Cage Titans, and it was Cage Titans 50, and it was a good time, and I met this woman there, and nothing but respect for this woman, Igdalia, Medina. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you doing?
Oh, lovely. Like I told you yesterday, we had a big thing yesterday with Lionel Boogs Young and Joe Penafiel, the party. They both are about to fight each other, and it was the first time I ever had both fighters be fighting at the same time. So they'll be fighting each other in early 22. So that was pretty interesting. But other than that, they're good peoples. So let's hear from you. Let's ask how you started in this game, like with what you do and how you help people and how you're big time in the MMA business and the Muay Thai business, stuff like that.
I started in mixed martial arts back in 2005. And I just, grew to love it. And as times went on, I started realizing that you needed to keep building from it. So I started in Jiu-Jitsu, the grappling aspect, because I always figured, learn some sort of self-defense. Something happens, you know how to protect yourself if they take you to the ground. And as the years went by and I started, training in other aspects of martial arts, because to me at that point in time, jiu-jitsu was my therapy. It would help me get through, different aspects. And, I started learning about kickboxing, but I wasn't really into it. Mm-hmm. Then I met Muay Thai, and that's what I fell in love with. And that's what, that was my passion. So since then, so that must have been it took a while to get there. It was like 2000, maybe 13. Mm-hmm. Is when I found the real Muay Thai, because everybody would promote Muay Thai, but it wasn't Muay Thai. It was like a sort of like a cardio style kickboxing, but they would, use the term Muay Thai to get people in. And if people didn't really understand it, they would love it. But once they knew what the true art was, it's kind of like, disappointing, because it's like, oh, I spent all these years training one thing, thinking it was that, but it isn't. But, the reason why I love it so much is because it helps you mentally. It's an art that helps you, with your self-defense, how to protect yourself physically, but it also helps you mentally. So it's a great combination to to be able to succeed in life and be overcome any and all obstacles that come at you. Because in order for you to deal with certain things in life, you have to have the right mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
In Muay Thai, they teach you all that, because a lot of, the techniques and all of the things that you are learning in this art, you're not going to be very successful if you don't have the right mindset. And having that mindset, spills into your day-to-day life. And that's why you see a lot of like the real professional Muay Thai fighters. You see them very calm and very humble because they've connected and they've learned how to use that mindset in a day-to-day life. And I think it's beautiful that people are able to do that. And that's why, I do a lot of the photography and do, some videos and interviews, because I want people to remember all of their hard work and sacrifice that they've done. They can look back and remember it.
And that's absolutely a good thing too, considering the fact of, I know people with mental health issues and different stuff like that. And, that aspect of, a certain calmness and things like that. And a woman who I interviewed I started in 2020 with this stuff. I met her through one of these programs called Athletes for Care. So this woman was a Muay Thai fighter. She fought in Thailand, didn't really have a huge record. She did it as like like you're talking about, like a relaxing thing, a calm thing. And she always has positive videos of like her dancing, doing like going to the gym and doing some sort of Muay Thai exercises and stuff. And I can see that a lot of the time this is a very therapeutic thing for people, as you say. And it's not just, let's just kick the crap out of each other in the ring and then we'll just go crazy. And then there's also the other side of where other guys will talk about each other and fight. And at the end, a lot of the times now I see that it's not about that. It's all about the show. And then at the end, it's like, okay, like we just had a good fight type of thing. And it could be somebody else's mental health and you just don't know it. So, I mean, I know you yourself have your show and you talk a lot about mental health. And does that give you a gratifying feeling that you are helping somebody else, or you could be helping somebody else?
Yes, that is my whole purpose, is to help others, because we all go through certain things in life that is supposed to break us and it's supposed to destroy us, and we get stuck there and we don't know where to go from there. But I've experienced, different stuff in life where I've decided that I would use that to overcome, and I would use whatever resources I had to become better and not allow it to destroy me mentally, physically, emotionally. And it's important to me that these athletes and fighters know that, what they're doing is great. And if they connect the right way mentally, and have the right mindset, like they can be on a whole other level that they just don't even realize it, because they have the desire and they have it. They just don't know how to tap into it. And you can see it. You can see it in there when they're in the ring or in the cage. You can see that there's something that's keeping them from achieving that goal that they want. And it's because they are dealing with things internally that they don't talk to anybody about, because either they feel like they're going to be judged or they're going to be labeled, or, many things that we create in our own heads, our own obstacles. But with this, I hope it allows others to see that somebody else is going through something similar. It may not be the same, because a lot of people automatically assume that if, person A is going through this and person D is going through the same exact thing, that it has to be an automatic, result. And it doesn't matter if you guys are going through the same exact things, because everybody's different. Everybody thinks
Right.
differently. Everybody acts differently. Everybody does things differently. So all we can do is, like for myself, all I can do is tell everybody how it worked for me, how I handled it, what didn't work for me, because what doesn't work for me doesn't mean it's not going to work for somebody else. It could work for somebody else. So I always make it a point to let them know what what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And then that's on them to figure out what is best for them in their healing process, because when they heal, they'll be able to overcome and achieve those goals and those dreams that they really, really want.
Right. And that's exactly it, you know, and people have their own, like you said, they're their own person where it comes from. You know, I'm going from past interviews, I'm going alcoholics turn to cannabis as an alternative, or, you know, becoming founders of different foundations because they've dealt with alcoholism or mental sexual abuse, stuff like that. Telling their stories like that is a big thing. And I know that doesn't take like just a snap of the finger, like, oh, I'm just going to tell this story right away. It's people opening up. And then when, you know, you can talk about your experiences and then your life and then put theirs into perspective too, then it's like, it's a good thing to be able to be like, well, I'll talk about this and you talk about this, and we can have a common bond of like, hey, it's okay to speak of this. You don't have to keep it in the shadows, because it'll just build up and build up and build up. And, you know, that's where people may take a bad turn, where they, you know, have a bad breakdown, or they have it to where they don't want to live anymore, whatever the case may be. And that's the thing, is it's never too late to ever get help. It's not embarrassing to not get help. It's very important. And I've been a big advocate of mental health because of certain issues I've had and different situations I've had myself. But talking to people is very important to me. This is why this is my therapy, sort of. I mean, talking with all these people from different backgrounds. I mean, from hockey to MMA, like, and that's what I really respect, because now in this point, I've been dealing with boxing and MMA, and it's almost like a family. And it's like everybody is good with each other, and, you know, we can hang out and talk for a little bit. And, you know, speaking of that, I mean, Saturday I'll be at CES Boxing, the 27th, for their holiday bash fights over there. And, you know, I met one of the fighters there, and it's like, you open yourself and you talk with them about their life and your life. And it's a great thing to have a podcast, or, you know, have people you can talk to. And I know it's the same for you. You talk with a lot of people, and a lot of people respect you, as I could see when we were at Cage Titans. So, I mean, I'm sure it's just as fun for you as it is for me.
Mm-hmm. It is, because a lot of people forget that these are fighters and they're human beings. They just look at them at whatever position they have, and they're much more than that. And people seem to forget. So I always try to remind people that these are humans. These people are fathers, they're brothers, they're sons.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. Yeah. And it's funny that, you know, when we were in the interview room and I was going back and forth, because I was doing I was doing outside, and then I was coming in, and, you know, like, you saw me with Slippery Pete, and I was, you know, joking and like shooting the shit. And it's like, that's what you can have with people, is you can have friendships with these people. You can also know how their life is. Or, you know, I go to CES, I meet Carlos Candelario, good kid, and always very respectful. And you're like, when I first came to the MMA fights, I'm like, I'm going to talk to this kid. Like, see, that's the thing, is people are judgmental right away. And I'll admit, I was a little tiny bit judgmental, but I was like, oh, they're going to be like mean. They don't want to talk. But honestly, they do. And they're very respectful about it. Like you said, their fathers, they have, I mean, like I was talking yesterday, I mean, I was talking to Joe yesterday. He's got kids, and, you know, they're just good people. They're normal people. It's like, they're not just in a octagon 100 times a day. Well, some of them, but, yeah. And, you know, the Muay Thai game, is that where that your main focus pretty much, or are you just open to any, mixed martial arts?
I'm open to any mixed martial arts. My passion is Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. And the reason it's Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, it's because Muay Thai is more realistic as far as on a stand-up situation. If somebody's going to attack you, if somebody's going to do something to you, you use every single part of your body to protect yourself, right? And then when they take you down to the ground, now you have your grounds techniques, which you have your Jiu-Jitsu, which you can, choke them out. You can put them in an arm bar. You can put them in a triangle. You can, go to the back, choke them, put them in a rear naked choke, or if they get out, you have so many more options.
Different.
Yeah. So those are my two number ones. Like first is Muay Thai and then it's Jiu-Jitsu. And then when you combine them both together, it's just killer, and it's important for people to really understand which martial art they are doing and why they're doing it. Because, somebody who wants to do martial arts may not want to do Muay Thai because they don't want to deal with elbows and they don't want to deal with knees. They don't want to deal with kicks. So then they pick a different type of martial arts. But the whole thing is martial arts helps with anyone who is dealing with any type of mental health issues. It's a way to heal. And it's important for people to understand that it's a healing process. Yes, you see people trying to hurt others in the cage or in the ring on the mat, but it's a healing process. And obviously there's levels to it where there's a healthy version and then there's the unhealthy version. And unfortunately, the media and everybody around only wants to focus on the negative part of it. And we get it. There is a negative side to everything in life, but we need to focus on the positive. We need to focus that Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu or boxing or the combination of mixed martial arts actually saved somebody's life. Actually made it so they didn't have to go down the bad path. Or if they were on the bad path, it actually brought them back onto the right path. So instead of focusing all those negativities, everything that people want to just, emphasize, no, let's look at the positive. Yes, there's negative, but we already live in a world where all we want to focus on is on the negative. Let's take a moment, take a step back, and let's focus on what's important. By doing this art, whichever one you want to do, it makes your body produce all of these chemicals, all of these things that you need where you don't have to rely on medicine. So depending on what level you are, you may not even need to be on medication anymore because your body is automatically creating it. And it's something that it makes you feel better on every single aspect of life. And you can tell, once you start training, maybe 1, 2, 3, people will still see the difference in you. They will see that you're glowing, that you're shining, that you have energy, then now you're radiating this positivity and you are actually taking that anger or whatever you had before that was confusing you. You're actually, using it and pointing it into the right direction where you are bettering yourself.
And that's absolutely true. Just because I know that people who are depressed or have anxiety or have certain mental health issues, I don't really go by the book. I just go on experience that I've seen or in things like that, where a person who's in that state doesn't want to go out for a walk, doesn't want to go for a run, doesn't want to, even try the Muay Thai stuff, or, they just want to sit in a dark room with no light and watch TV and do all this stuff. When, like you said, in Muay Thai, you train and, feel a calmness inside you, and, your endorphins are going. And when you're active, like you said, you'll get a certain glow to yourself where you're going to feel much better, even if it's an hour session or more than that. There'll be a positive in it. And like you said, some people take different sports such as Muay Thai, boxing, and go the dark route. The money is all that matters, or it's not fun. It's kind of like a robotic type of thing. I want to just beat up anybody who's in this ring, where it's not even fun. And then that can take a toll. We've seen it in many people like Tyson or anybody like that. But the positives in it is there's guys who legitimately want to better themselves. If they have a mental issue, they go to the commissions, they go to, if they're in say in boxing, they go to top rank, they'll say, I'm having mental health issues. Can you get me psychiatrist? And that's happening in a lot of sports now because they're so overwhelmed. Like in football, somebody has a big game, they're nervous or they're having a panic attack right on the field, and that's the thing about these sports is that they can shed a positive light instead of a negative light. And I like how you said that it gives you a glow if you're doing it in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But in other stuff like that, do you deal with just the mental health aspect of things, or like, keeping sports away for it and not using that as an example, like kind of, using your steps or your experiences or talking with people who are really struggling? Do you talk just strictly mental health issues that way?
No, I relate to what they're going through. I listen to them and, they have their story. Everybody has a story. And that's why my podcast is called Their Fight Story. So when I speak to these fighters, these athletes, I want to know them and I want the world to know them. And as we speak, we connect because we all go through certain things in life. And in order for me to actually be able to give them any advice or show them the grounding techniques that I've learned, I need to know what it is that they're going through because it may not work. When I first started dealing with all this, I would shut down. They say, oh, you need to do all these breathing techniques and you need to do this and you need to, oh my gosh, I would go through such like a freaking anxiety attack. Like I couldn't do this. I was like, get me the heck out of here. Like I can't do this. And you're right. I couldn't do it at that moment. It's something that people need to understand that these are certain things that in time you will be able to use, but they need to know what they are. Mm-hmm. And they also need to know that it's not etched in stone. Like it's going to be here and it's going to be there. And it's when this happens, then this is going to follow. And then this is going to follow. No, it doesn't. It's not like that. What will work for one person, their breathing technique in the moment, hey, that's going to work for them. It's not going to work for me. Didn't work for me. And then they'll tell you, go take a run. No, I'm not running. I'm not running.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
But it's like, depending on what you've been through in life, that running could trigger something. So it's kind of like, you need to really understand the person, understand what they're going through and figure it out. Because sometimes it's as simple as they are so overwhelmed and consumed with life. They're dealing. And it's not even a bad thing when I say they're dealing. At the present moment, in their situation, they have a family. They are trying to balance having a family, working, dealing with whatever thing is going to come out that is unexpected. Somebody gets sick, or now the car breaks down, or now there's something wrong with the heating system, or, there's a leak in the roof. Oh, and then there's this. So all of this is happening all at the same time. There is no way for you to stop what you're doing to fully attend to another without messing up something else. So it's like you can't attend to the roof and let your toddler running around the house and get injured. You know what I mean? So you have to really plan things out and figure out what's best. And that's just the way it is. So once you're able to speak to somebody, right? You speak to somebody and you're venting. It's not like you're complaining, because a lot of people need to understand that there's a difference between complaining and venting. Venting is a way to let it out of your system, let it escape it, and then you can process and deal with the present moment. And when you do that, things are a lot clearer and you're able to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to take 5 seconds to process this. I'm going to take 5 deep breaths, and then I am going to deal with this situation at the moment. And when that happens, everything becomes clearer. Everything falls into place. And that's what we want. We want things to fall into place. We want things to allow us to grow and progress. Like everything we do in life is not to set us back. It's supposed to make us move forward. And just because we're not going to see that in that moment doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You already have that vision. You already have that goal. And now you're going through your journey to get there. So what I do is I try to open their eyes and see that they're on the right journey. There are just little things that they need to either jump over, they need to go around, or they need to go right through it. They have to, but they're the only ones that know what's best. Because a lot of people want to be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's like, I want to, but that's really not going to be the solution. That's going to make me be where I need to be. And you need to be very, very cautious. Always listen to what people are saying and figure out what intentions do they have. Is it an instant gratification so they can deal with it and have you move on? Or are they going to allow you to actually go through it so the results are long lasting?
And that's the thing too, is, you know, it is a problem with people where, you know, if somebody's telling you to, you know, go for a run, for example, like we said, and, you know, that's somebody else's advice. Yes, you could take it. No, you couldn't. You know, that's just the thing, is people don't understand. Sometimes they don't want to be forced to do something. Like, you need to do this, or you need to do that, and it's like, no, I'm my own person. But if it's affecting your health, like, people want to help you, but some of the times it has to be, you want to help yourself. And this was a good lesson I was taught by somebody, was the past is depression, the future is anxiety, live in the present. And that was one of a really good lesson I learned, because it's true. I mean, if you're thinking about what's going to happen next, that's anxiety. Or if you think about the past, that's depression. You're thinking about something that happened before. And, you know, you just got to find that balance, whether it be, you know, training with Muay Thai, or eating healthier, or I keep saying we're going for runs and stuff, but like, you know, that's the median point. And, you know, the good thing about this stuff is, like, you know, for probably both you and I, this is our own, like, present and, you know, good thing for us to help us, like, get a positive out of these things. I mean, we're talking to different people, and we're getting to know people and know their stories, and it's good stuff. And it's all about, well, for me, every time I tell somebody if they're on my show, that when you come on my show, you're family. So, like, you know, some people have texted me, and, you know, some are busy, but, you know, I say, how you doing and stuff like that. That's a good thing about the rapport. You can have a good rapport with people, and through this whole thing. And COVID, you know, I would say kind of saved me, because, you know, this helped me branch out to speak for myself and speak to other people. And you're going to get the haters and the positives, but, you know, you take the good with the bad, and it's mostly been positive. So it's a good thing to have here. And I know you feel this, I'm sure you feel the same way with your page. Your logo looks better than mine.
We're two different people. Your logo wouldn't go with mine. Mine wouldn't go with yours. We're different people.
I know yours.
It's what fits us, you know. And that's, we can't like. And I know you're joking, but for the people that are listening, there are some people that go around saying, "Well, this person has this and this person has that." It doesn't matter what they have. It's what works for you. Like, your logo is not going to work for me. I wouldn't even be able to have that as my background. I'd be like freaking out, like, oh my God, like, I know it's fake, but is it going to come at me? You know? So it's what's you, what defines you, what builds you. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have mine, and you're going to be like, oh my God, okay, I'm totally bored of this already. Like, okay, we got to move on. But if it's me, you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it, that we are doing things that fits us. Regardless of what people think, regardless of what people want, it fits us. And if we're happy, that's really all that matters, you know?
That's right.
And I want people to really listen to that, because everybody has a vision, everybody has a goal, everybody has the drive and the desire, and then they forget, and then they compare this to somebody else. Who cares? That person isn't you. That person's style isn't your style. Their dreams aren't your dreams. So just enjoy the process, enjoy every moment, because as you're doing that, you develop yourself, you grow and you learn. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
right.
I automatically know that your logo would not go with me. So I'm not even looking over it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's okay. We good. We good over here. We good.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. In this game, it's like some people, they do one episode of something and there's like somebody says one thing and they don't want to do it anymore. Or, it's the followers and the likes. And it's like people are so obsessed with it. And it's like that'll cause mental health issues for somebody. Like
Yeah.
they feel like they're hurt because not everybody is listening. So for me, it's like I have my own stuff, and they say, how are you still on after 2020? And I said, because this is a passion. This is fun for me. Like I take this as fun. I don't take it serious. Like I'm not gonna call up David Ortiz and say, hey, like I want you to like be on my show. Like that's not what I'm about. It's about the people. It's not about what big star am I gonna get next. I mean, I got to get the kid who won against. He was like the first fight. He was going to prom after at Cage Titans. I got to get that kid. Yeah, I got to get him on the show.
Yes.
That was a very cool story.
Yes.
But yeah, and I mean, what holds for the future for you in this game? Like, not just the mental health aspect, but like your show. And actually, I should say like the mental health stuff. Like what's your goals for after we talk, of course, like what's your goals after this?
My goal is just to keep reaching people. Before, I won't lie, in the beginning, I was like, oh, I just want to reach people. And then, you get people telling you these things. Oh, well, why are you using this? And why are you saying this? Because, people think, oh, I'm looking for attention. I'm not looking for attention. I could care less about attention. I like being behind the scenes. So then it was kind of like, okay, well, now I just want subscribers, because if I have subscribers, then that means people are listening and watching. Then I realized I don't really care about the subscribers. I mean, yes, I do care about them. If they subscribe, yes, thank you. I appreciate you. But at the end of the day, it's the people who are watching that really matter to me, that the people will listen to these stories and will be able to find hope within themselves. Because a lot of people are stuck in a really dark place and don't know a way out. But you can listen to these stories of these promoters, the promoters, why they started their promotion. Now you have the fighters who are fighting for this promotion. Why did they choose this promotion? You know what I mean? So I interview all these people. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I just said right.
So they can understand and they can feel, and then somehow there's going to be a phrase, there is going to be a word that will help somebody out. And that's really what helps me. It brings me back into place, puts me back as a reminder of what this really started as. It doesn't matter if anybody's out there trying to do what I'm doing, trying to do what you're doing. We're all different. We all have different mindsets. We all have different styles. We all have different everything. I went to school for criminal justice, and then I got my
So did I.
Bachelor's. Yeah, nice. So I got my bachelor's in sociology with a concentration in deviance. So I use everything that I know to help somebody else. I'm not looking to say, well, you're this person because it says here that you're da 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 da. Okay, now why don't we work on this? There's a reason why you're acting this way, or you feel this way, or you've been doing these things this way. And then there's another side to the coin, where now I am letting them know, hey, it could be the same exact value, but look at the other side of it. And then guess what? That's probably the side that they really, really, really needed to see. And there's nothing wrong with it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I want people to see and understand that there are certain things in life that impact us. And it's meant to break us. It is meant to destroy us. It is not meant for us to grow. But you know what? You can grow from it. And I want everybody to take every situation they've been with and take it, look at it, and grow. I don't want you to look at it and be depressed and don't want to do anything in life. No, I want you to look at it and say, hey, I was in this situation, but I'm here today, which means I'm stronger than what I was back then, which means all I need to do is, if somebody's going through something similar, be like, hey, this was an example, but look, it worked out. And you can keep moving forward and moving forward. And whenever you feel stuck, take a moment and then pick yourself right back up again and keep going. Because there's nothing wrong with taking a break. There's nothing wrong with stopping. There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem is when you quit, when you give up. And taking a break is not giving up. Taking a break is allowing yourself to recharge. And everybody has the right to recharge. People forget
That's right.
that.
That's right. And, you know, there's been times, you know, I'm sure you've had it too, where this stuff, you know, becomes a little bit crazy. You know, you're like looking for somebody, or you're like, you know what, like this week, I don't want to do it this week. I need a break. And, you know, like I have a really good producer with me that helps me produce my show. And, you know, it's just a good feeling that when you have a crew around you. We got a group of four, and we all have different personalities in our shows. One's military, me sports, one all types of issues going on in the world, and one who deals with underground hip hop. So it's like we're all from different backgrounds, and we all have our different stories. And you know, and for me, sometimes I'm like, you know, when you're feeling like tired and you don't feel like, because you know, families take over the child. You need to take care of your child first, and then you gotta, like you said, you got a broken car, or you got, you know, works. The worst thing is, well, sometimes for me is the combination of bringing work home or home to work. You know, sometimes people deal with that, like, you know, deaths in the family or things like that. But you know what, like at the end of the day, you still have your family, and pretty much you still have your job. So, you know, it's a good thing to also in this realm, like have good work friends and have good family values, because they're your family, and you know, you need to have these people in your life, because you never know. But that's a good thing too, is like I say, like when you join my show, you're family. So I like reaching out to the people who I past talk to and things like that. So it's good stuff. And I'm glad I'm part of this, you know, little fun stuff like YouTube and Spotify and all that stuff. It's all fun, and it's all fun. But my last thing for you is, where's your next adventure for MMA? Where are you going next?
Like the next show, or?
Yeah, next show.
The next show will be December 3rd for Lion Fights. They're going to be coming out this way, December 3rd at the Shriners Auditorium.
Okay. You heard it first. So Igdalia will be there, and she's gonna be asking all sorts of good questions. If you don't know this girl, follow her YouTube page, which is her name, and her Instagram, which is her name. And just know she is a really cool person. I met her once, and I was like, let's do an interview. So good person right here. Give you good advice. And I will be at CES Boxing this Saturday, November 27th. Holiday Bash, they're calling it. Main event is Mike Gray and Kendrick Ball Jr. So check that out. And again, Igdalia, Springfield, Mass Mutual Center. Sorry, I believe it's at 7. I'll have to double check on that. Nice. But thank you, Igdalia, for joining the show, and definitely have you back on.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll have the progress and all that good stuff.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I'll reach out to you so you can be on my show, on my podcast. People.
I need to get on other people's shows, you know? I'm always the one trying to reach out. Somebody else reach out to me.
I'm reaching out. You're going to get a message as soon as we get off this to find your schedule. And we're doing it.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
What's
What's up? We the BMG Boys. And thank you for listening.
Please follow his Facebook page and subscribe to his podcast at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Let's go.
We show them no.
When it comes to getting dough and chasing dollars.